Good day, everyone, and welcome to our English class. And for today's video, we will be talking about the figures of speech. Without further ado, let's get started. In this video, we will be talking about simile, metaphor, hyperbole, and personification. All of these are the different types of figure of speech. The English language can be interesting because it uses words and expressions that are classified as the figurative language. When we say figurative language or the figure of speech, it is a phrase or a word having different meanings than its literal meaning. So it is therefore necessary to analyze figurative language to be able to understand its intended meaning. No? So take note, words or phrases have two types of meaning. No? We have the literal meaning, which whatever being said or meant per words being used. So you can find it in the dictionary. So all of those words being used in the dictionary in that specific word, that is a literal meaning. On the other hand, we have the figurative language. No? So it helps convey an idea faster and more vividly. Because again, as what I've said, literal meaning you can find per word in the dictionary. And on the figurative language, these are the thoughts running in your mind. No? Once you hear a word or a phrase, so how are you going to understand that? How are you going to take that? So that is a figurative language or figure of speech, and that is what we are going to talk about today. So I'm going to start with simile. Simile is when you compare two different things by saying one thing is like the other. No? Or it is a direct comparison between two different things, and it uses the word like or as. Okay? So here are some examples of simile. He was as fast as the sports car. So if you try to check, it will be very easy for us to identify that it is a simile because we use the word as. No? Next, we have his hair was spiky like the top of a pineapple. So we are using the word like. So these examples are actually comparing two different things. No? Comparing two different things, and we're saying that one thing is the same with the other. So that's why it is an example of a simile. On the other hand, when we say metaphor, it compares two different things also by saying one thing is the other. But unlike with the simile, in metaphor, we are not using the word like or as. Instead, we directly say it or we directly compare it. No? Because when we say metaphor also, it compares two different things. However, it does not use like or as. Just like for an example, your brain is a computer. So we are not saying here that the brain and computer is different, but then again, we actually describe that our brain is a computer because it stores a lot of information. No? So your brain is a computer. It means to say you have a lot of information in your head. You have a lot of knowledge upon doing great decisions in life. Okay? So that is the meaning of your brain is a computer, and that is an example of a metaphor. Another, your words are poison to me. So most likely, we actually compare the words to a poison. No, but then again, we are saying that this kind of words are poison, especially if these words are very negative. No, that's why you need to be careful upon scrolling in the Facebook, in Instagram, or in Twitter, if you may have, no? So, you really need to be careful upon reading these kind of words because it will instill in your head and then somehow pwede na nimong ma-apply. But then again, since these words are very poisonous, so never do the same, huh? So you are already old enough to understand what is right and wrong. So you need to understand that not all words being shown or being presented or introduced to you in Facebook or even in your environment are good, no? So do not follow what is bad, follow what is good. And that is very important. So that is metaphor. So metaphor can also be used by suggesting one thing is another. For example, it's raining cats and dogs outside. Actually, we didn't literally mean the cats and dogs. But actually, we are talking about the raindrops. No? Since it look like a cat and dog, the raindrops, that's why no nga langas kaayo siya sa tuang mga roof because dagko kaayo ang patak sa ulan. And we compare it to a cat and dog, which is they are very noisy once they will see each other. So that's why we say it's raining cats and dog outside. And that is really funny. We find it very funny because it's impossible that the cats and dog will fall from the sky. But then again, we are composing this kind of sentences and that is metaphor. Another example we have, there's an elephant in the room. I hope we will never experience this kind of example, no? Nga naadyo'y elepante sulod sa classroom. But then again, we are not actually or literally saying about the elephant, but actually we are talking about the space of an area wherein we really cannot move because there are a lot of things inside. No? So that's why nilimit na dayon imo mga movements because you really cannot move when there are a lot of things inside the room. Okay, so that's the meaning of there's an elephant in the room. And that is an example of a metaphor. So always remember that similes and metaphor create images that aid in understanding a text. Okay? So you need to take note of that. Another is they can help convey abstract ideas more clearly. Okay. So I hope you get that. Simile and metaphor. Simile is when you use like or as. Metaphor is when you also compare but you don't use like or as. Let's move on to hyperbole. Okay? When we say hyperbole, my dear children, so it is a figure of speech that makes an exaggeration to emphasize something. Okay? Exaggeration. Hyperboles make things greater or smaller than they actually are. No? It used to express strong emotion to make point. Just like for an example, I am hungry. I could eat a whole cow. So in this example, I know it is very impossible for me and I believe you will agree with me that it is impossible for a human to finish the head until the tail of the cow. No? So it's really impossible that we can finish the whole cow. But then again, our example says that he is hungry and he could eat the whole cow. So that is an example of a hyperbole. Pasubraan ra niya, kanang gipagrabihan ra niya iyang expression ba. Nga gutom kaayo siya, so that's why he can finish the whole cow. Maybe ganahan siya mukha o nagdaghan kaayo, no? Mo na siya ang meaning niya. Another example, I am so tired. I could sleep for a year. Oh, that's so bad. And that's a very bad news. Can you really sleep for a year? Do you think so? Okay, yes, that is really impossible for us to sleep for a year because even me, myself, and I cannot sleep for 24 hours because the noise of the motorcycles, coming from the pets, no? Or different kind of people. And this kind of noise makes me awake, no? Also, my cell phone makes me awake and it's impossible for me to sleep for 24 hours. How much more for a year? But then again, our example shows a hyperbole statement because we exaggerate things. No? Atong gipalab-anan, bisan kana pang muingon ka ba nga, bisan dili kaayo dako ang samad, pero muingon jud ka, sakit jud kaayo ma. Oh, hilak jud ka taman, bisan gamay ra kay samad. That's exaggeration. Okay? Okay, sige. Next, we have personification. So this is the last type of figure of speech that we are going to talk about. So personification from the word person. No? So it gives human qualities to a non-living object. The non-human things are given human qualities. So take note ha, of non-human things are acting like human. So that's the meaning of personification. There are a lot of things that only human can do. Just like for an example, crying, smiling, cooking, talking, what else? No? So there are a lot of characteristics of a human being that other, especially the non-living things can't do rather. No? So, but actually, in this example, the non-human things are acting like human. No? Just like we have here, the pizza is calling my name. So, I haven't heard anything coming from the pizza calling my name. Love, you eat me. I'm delicious. I haven't heard that kind of conversation with the pizza, no? And it's really impossible that the pizza will talk because that only human can talk. But then again, our example shows the pizza is calling my name. And the word calling there, it's not an characteristic of a non-human thing, but instead, only human can call somebody. So that is an example of personification. Another example, I can't believe my car died. No, it sounds very funny because the car will never die. Car don't have life. No, take note of that. Car don't have life and it's impossible that the car will die because only human, only plants and only animals die. No? So take note of that. Next, the fireflies dance as the moon smiled down upon them. So, I remember my grandma always tell me that the moon will shine at me every night and the fireflies will dance. And I remember that she usually say this every time we do dinner outside our house, no? Kaya naman ni mura siya terrace ba niya makita ang sun, ang kanang langit inig kagabi. So muna usually nga ginaingon sa akong lula nga personification day siya because it is impossible that the firefly will dance. Only to find out that the fireflies are actually, they're just flying. No? Because that's what they do. That's what they do. And the moon will never smile because the moon don't have lips. No? Only us humans are actually making that the moon will smile at us even though there is no lips. Only the human has lips and can smile, and also the animals. no? And we consider the moon as a non-human thing. And that is exactly an example of a personification. So, always remember that personification and hyperbole create visual images that enhance writing. No? Take note of that, enhance writing. Why? Because when you are writing a poem or you are writing a song, you can actually make use of personification and hyperbole. Especially when you compare these non-human things to a human thing. No? Or you want to create something, an exaggeration of things. So you can make use of this kind of figure of speech to enhance your writing and to enhance your humor part. When we say humor, kana bang the funny side of you, no? So ingon ana ang paagi sa ubang singer, sa ubang mga writer. Next, both figurative language can add more depth and meaning to a statement. And lastly, it allows us to identify meaningful characteristics in people and things. So take note of that. So for your activity, you need to answer page 208, let's practice 1, and that is 1 to 10. And page 230, let's practice 1 also, and that's 1 to 10. So you will be answering 2 activities and you may take a photo of your answers and send it to me via email or messenger. So, mo na siya ang inyong buhaton for this after this video. And that would be all. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day. Bye everyone!